Welcome, listeners and viewers, to another episode of the Atlanta Realtors Real Estate Rundown, the #1 podcast for realtors in Georgia. I'm your host, Carolyn Garrett. So you never miss our great interviews, content, conversations with the best in the real estate industry. Why don't you go ahead, like and subscribe? And if you're already subscribed, thank you for being with us again. It is with overwhelming respect and admiration that I would like to introduce our guest for today, Brianne Drake, the 2026 president of the Georgia Association of Realtors. I could spend our entire time together today, Brianne, simply discussing the accolades, awards, and positions that you have. So let me just hit a few of the high notes for our viewers. Brianne has served on innumerable committees as chair at the local, state, and national level, professional standards being one that's very near and dear to my heart, as well as having director and vice president positions. She's also been the Realtor of the Year, not once, but twice, for the Metro South Association of Realtors. Brianne is the first female person of color in 106 years of the history of the Georgia Association of Realtors. Karen Hatcher, one of our esteemed past presidents of the ARA, called Brianne's "We Are One" platform the North Star for the Realtor brand, that our collective strength is our greatest asset, and that Brianne makes the path wider for those that follow. So Brianne, thank you. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for being with us today. As we begin, would you just take a quick moment and share with us your path, starting in real estate, starting in leadership, and what brings you to right here?
Well, thank you, Carolyn. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. I am Brianne Drake, as you said, the 2026 Georgia Realtors president, and it is truly an honor to serve as the president and to have been elected as president for the Georgia Realtors. In 1998, after serving so many years in corporate America, I decided that I wanted something more than just a job. I wanted a career, but one that had purpose. And I decided to get into residential real estate. And so in 1998, I wanted something that was purposeful. I wanted to assist families with one of the most amazing decisions that they would ever make, and that is homeownership. I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia. I am an associate broker with Atlanta Fine Home Sotheby's International Realtors, and I am with one of the most amazing associations there is, and that is the Atlanta Realtors, and I'm so honored to be here. I have served with the local, state, and national associations and served on so many different committees throughout my career, so it is truly a wonderful thing, and I'm so appreciative for the opportunities and the people that I have met along the way and in this journey. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today as well, Carolyn.
I'm trying really hard not to fangirl.
No need.
Because Brianne is just always so welcoming and engaging for everyone, no matter where she is and what event she is at. So let's talk a little bit about leadership. Leadership titles tell us what someone achieved. They rarely tell us what they cost, what it taught them, and who they became along the way. So let's let that be the basis for our conversation today. Was there a moment when you realized that I'm not just participating in this industry anymore, I'm helping to shape it? Was there one defining moment in all of the work that you have done that has stood out for you?
Well, Carolyn, there wasn't one particular moment. I think it's been numerous moments for me. I think it began when people would ask my perspective and asked me for guidance or solutions to issues. But the most important and the most memorable, the ones that really stand out and was the most heartfelt for me, have been the ones where people, just as you said, have come to me and said, I made a difference in their life, or that I asked them to participate, or everyone knows that I enjoy taking photos, and we talked about that a little bit. I love taking pictures of everyone. Not a fan of being in the camera or on the camera, but I enjoy taking photos. So in doing so, I come to people because it makes them smile. When I say, can I take your picture? Or if I put the camera in front of them and say, let's take a picture, smile. They do so, and years later, I've had people say, you don't know what I was going through that day, and you don't know how you changed my life. Or if I'm at an event, I've always been that person. God just have blessed me with that, I guess, that I never like seeing anyone alone. So if they're at a table, at an event, they're by themselves, I will approach them. I will go to them and say, what is your name? How are you? Are you here with anyone? Do you know anyone? And if they don't, I will take them by the hand, introduce them to the leadership team, to members within the room, and I will say, get your stuff. You're not going to sit here by yourself. And people will remember that. They've come to me and they've said, you welcomed me at an event. You came to me. You encouraged me to get involved. You're the reason that I'm in leadership. That's what means so much to me, because I'm just doing it not for any accolades or anything of that nature, just because I try to treat people the way that I want to be treated. And all of us are members of this great association, and we have a voice, and we are part of it. So I just never want anyone to feel alone or by themselves. So that's what kind of gave me the path of feeling like I'm making a difference.
Well, that speaks tremendously to your generosity of spirit. But I will tell you, as someone who has been on the receiving end of that call up, how that feels emotionally when you get the call from leadership asking you to be in the room. I mean, that has tremendous power, and that you can do that and share that with people is extraordinary.
Well, thank you.
Being the first woman of color to be the president of GAR is historically significant. How have you balanced the honor of that moment with the responsibility that comes with it?
It is truly an honor and a privilege, and I'm so thankful and grateful that our membership elected me to represent them as the 2026 president of the Georgia Realtors, as the first Black president of the Georgia Realtors. And it is an honor, and it is a change, which is great, but it allows me, it comes with that responsibility. Anytime it's anything that you're the first makes a difference, but it does come with a responsibility. And I hope that in my position that I'm opening the door wide enough, as Karen has said, she quoted me, opening that door wide enough to allow others to follow. I just want to be one that encourages others to see themselves in me and better than me. I'm no one special, or it's not just isolated to me. Any and everyone can do this. I just participated. I signed up, I attended, I was present, I put in the work, I asked the questions, I challenged what was not right. I never wavered on my ethics, my morals, my character. I stayed true to myself. And I just encourage everyone else to do the same. And in doing so, if it's ever a time that you wanted to get into leadership or become involved, to do it. You can. Your voice matters. You matter. And I just say, hopefully what I do today makes it easier for those to follow later.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for everything that you have done. But you're absolutely right. Leadership is open to everyone.
Yes.
Sometimes it takes some work, and sometimes it takes some time. It's not overnight.
No, it's not ever overnight.
It's not ever overnight. And I think that if you want it, find someone that you can speak to that can give you the steps that you need to take to create that path for yourself.
And speaking of that, Carolyn, I've had so many mentors. I've had, and I've said this in my speech, and I stand on it. I stand on the shoulders of many giants, those that have been past presidents and those that have been silently in the background. There are so many people that will help, and I try to be that as well. I love mentoring and participating and trying to encourage others. So I am always there to try to answer any questions that anyone may have, any opportunities that they're looking for. If I can be of assistance in any way, I'm definitely there to assist.
Well, I think that that's something that also people that are newer to leadership and newer to participation sometimes forget, that you never have to do it alone.
No.
And that just ask, because people love to help.
Yes.
People love to help you on
your journey.
Exactly.
Your journey.
What do you think that people misunderstand about leadership at the executive level?
I think that people don't really realize what goes on behind the scenes. I think that people forget sometimes that it's more about the service and less about the status. It's less about me and I, and it's more about the we and the us. And in leadership, the decisions that are made are for the betterment of the 47,000 members of the Georgia Realtors. And sometimes they're not the most popular decisions, but it's the best decision. It's our fiduciary duty for our association. So I think people forget that sometimes, that decisions are very hard sometimes, and we have to make those hard decisions. And although personally I or we may not agree with them, they have to be made.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Has leadership changed you personally for in good ways and ways that you didn't expect, or even both?
Absolutely both. Absolutely both. Everything is a growth opportunity. It has taught me more compassion, patience, definitely patience. I have learned that people don't realize, even I didn't realize to the extent of leadership, the confidentiality that is required. And sometimes, as I stated, with the decisions that have to be made, I had a past president that told me early on in my leadership role, he says, you will never make 100% of the people happy 100% of the time, no matter how hard you try. And I'm one of those people that try to make people happy, and you just can't. And when people question the decisions that are made, and the hardest part is not being able to tell them the reasons why, or things just aren't like they appear sometimes because of confidentiality, and having to take the brunt of the hits sometimes. Even with your own leadership team, you can't disclose a lot. You just have that partnership with your CEO that a lot of times is just behind the scenes. So that's kind of hard to do at times. And so that patience and having to, strengthen yourself to be able to take the hard hits and make tough decisions. So I'm learning that. The hardest part is that I'm still learning is that word no, and knowing that no is a complete sentence, and knowing that when that cup is empty that you need to stop and replenish. So I'm still working on that part of it. So yes.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I just did a coaching session this morning and we talked about opting out and having a plan for being able to say no.
Should have been in that class.
Yeah, well, let me ask you a follow-up question, because you said something. As you go down this path of leadership and all of the things that you have to do, and the confidentiality and the not making everyone as happy as perhaps you would like for them to be, was there ever a time when the hard decisions had to be made, or the difficult conversations had to happen, that as you came out the other side, you thought to yourself, wow, I didn't realize I had that in me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are many times that you make those decisions and you say, you know what? I did it. It was ethically right. It was morally right. And it was my fiduciary duty. So I stand behind it. Because, every decision that I make, whether it's popular or unpopular, I have to like the person that I see in that mirror each and every day. And I am very grounded in my faith. And everything that I do, I try to walk by my faith. And I say every day that I wake up, God, please allow me to walk in the footprints that you've paved before me. So at the end of the day, when I do things, I'm comfortable and I'm confident. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I am always a work in progress. And do I make mistakes? Yes, I do. But when I make hard decisions or make decisions, I go to my Father first. And I think about my fiduciary duty, whether it's to my local, state, or national. And the decisions that I make, I'm pretty comfortable with them, and I stand behind them. That's just like in the committees that we serve. Whether it's personally I disagree with them, if we make a determination as a group or as one, I stand behind those decisions.
I think that people forget that sometimes those two things can happen simultaneously.
Absolutely.
And we're always working towards what's right for the body.
Absolutely.
Your platform is We Are One, which I love, by the way. What does that mean to you personally, and how do you want the members to embrace it?
Despite our background, despite our differences, our cultures, our markets, regardless if we're residential, commercial, property management, short, tall, young, old, wear glasses, don't wear glasses, it doesn't matter. We are one. We are in an industry that we support. We are realtors. We are bound by the code of ethics, and we are all fighting for the same things, and that's private property rights, home ownership, stability. We want to protect our HOA rights. We want to protect our taxes, property taxes that are increasing so tremendously in so many of our different counties. We all want what's right for our communities, for ourselves as realtors and our real estate industry. We are one. It doesn't matter. All the other stuff does not matter. The color, the cultures, doesn't matter. We are realtors, one voice. If we're speaking with one voice and we're fighting for the same things, we are one. And if we can work that way together and stop competing with one another and start working together and have that same voice in the same industry, we can change everything. We've been dealing with so much negativity for so very long. Let's add some positive energy into it. And it does my heart so good when I'm out or we're at events or conferences or even just looking at photos and on Facebook or Instagram and people are saying we are one and they're putting the one up. It just does my heart good because it's the buy-in and I'm a true believer of the power of the tongue and the spirit. I believe in what you speak things into existence. So when we're constantly saying we are one and we're believing we are one, we can change our industry. The state of Georgia realtors can change. And so we are one.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
Where do you think the industry has forgotten how to connect with one another? Since we're talking about we are one, so that we can come together for all the good reasons, where do you feel like we've forgotten to connect?
I think we've forgot to stop to listen. We don't listen anymore. I think technology is so great, in my opinion, that we don't communicate anymore. I think that we're so busy with texting, and it's FYI, LOL, SMH, and everything else, that we're not truly communicating. Even as realtors, everything is a text. Is this property available? Yes. Can I show it today? Yes. We're not picking up the telephone anymore. We're not having conversations. I'm not calling you saying, Carolyn, I'm calling you about 123 Anywhere Drive. Is that property available? My client is looking for, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Is the backyard sloped? Is it not, Because what can potentially happen is that property might not be the property for my client, but you may say, Brianne, this one may not work. However, I have another property coming available tomorrow that will work for your client. But we're so busy texting and not talking and having these conversations anymore that we're missing out. So I think that technology, although it is as great as it is, we're not having conversations anymore.
Well, as someone who trains people to have conversations, that speaks to my heart because we want to build relationships with our clients, right, with our buyers and sellers, but we forget that we need to be building relationships with the people that we work together.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
What do you think would change in the industry if people truly believe they were connected instead of competing?
I think it will build collaboration, mentorship, and partnership. I think it would allow us the opportunity to work together instead of working against each other.
Because sometimes we have those people that aren't always realizing that we want to get to the closing table together.
That's right. It's all about our clients and doing what's best for them. We have a buyer that wants to buy. We have a seller that wants to sell. there's mutual interest here. And let's work together to make it happen. We're not competing. What's the competition about?
Right. We can still represent our respective side to the best of our abilities.
Yes.
While still understanding that we want to come together.
Yes.
We want to be one
right.
to get to the closing table.
That's right.
Switching gears a little bit.
Okay.
What does servant leadership actually look like when the stakes are high and there's people that are competing with you for their attention? You talked about the conversations that sometimes have to happen and the confidentiality that occurs, but let's dig a little bit deeper into servant leadership and how you manage that when the conversations are elevated and everyone wants a little bit more of Brianne.
Well, always remembering that people come first. Listening, staying grounded, and remembering that people are asking because they want something, they need something, and giving them the proper attention. And listening means truly listening and not listening to have an answer. Because unfortunately, we do that so often. We listen to respond instead of listening to hear. And when it comes to Brianne and a little piece of Brianne, I do get a lot of that. And it's okay because I enjoy it. I love people. I love to help. And sometimes it's to a fault to me. And what I mean by that is sometimes it causes me not to replenish. You know, I work off of that empty cup because I want to be present. It does my heart good when anyone invites me to attend an event or be present or to speak, because one of the greatest joys I have, especially in this role or any role, is mentorship or explaining why we are a realtor. What are the advantages of being a realtor? What does being a Georgia realtor truly mean? What are the benefits? Why be a realtor versus just being a licensee? Love it, love it, love it. Why invest in RPAC? What are our advantages? I cannot tell you the many times that I've gone to speak at brokerages or to boards. That's what I'm passionate about, because this is what we do. Professional standards. Carolyn, I know you love it just like I do.
So much.
I know it. So that's what I love. But sometimes it's you put yourself on the back burner just to be present for everyone else. And like I said, having that no, and that's kind of hard sometimes, but yeah.
What concerns you most about the direction of the real estate industry right now? You mentioned noise. You mentioned agents competing instead of connecting, but there's a lot going on, right? I feel that we are at an inflection point in our industry. You get to be at the forefront to lead us through all of the interesting things that are going on. But is there anything about the direction of the real estate industry right now that maybe we need to rethink?
Well, I think it's, like you said, it's allowing fear and division and constant noise to distract us, where we just need to refocus. We just need to remember what our true purpose is. Why did we get into the career of real estate? What is it about? What are we trying to accomplish? If we get back to thinking and remembering that we are here to serve our clients, we are here to represent them and to do the best that we can to protect private property rights and home ownership. This is what it's about. If we can just stay focused and grounded on that and shut down some of this noise and keep the noise down to a minimum, I think that we will be okay. And we are one. You know, if we keep that voice and keep speaking positivity into each other and keep that negativity out, and I think that we're going to be okay.
What gives you hope for our industry, and the people in our industry?
I will tell you, I am very hopeful every time I see our members of ARA, Emerging Leaders, of GAR, Leadership Academy, and NAR Leadership Academy. That gives me hope, because what it says to me is we still have realtors that believe in leadership, that want to grow, that are passionate about about our industry, and want to continue to move us forward. That's what gives me hope.
Wow, that's wonderful. As I mentioned, we've got a lot going on in our industry these days. We've got AI adoption, we've got other things, we've got market shifts. So much, as we said, that becomes noise and can distract us. What do you believe will remain timeless in this business, no matter how much it actually changes?
I think no matter how much technology changes and AI, now I was one, I know change is inevitable. I fought against AI as long as I possibly could. I just did not want to, even though I have friends that have taught it since the beginning of time. And now I'm embracing it. And it's actually not as bad as I thought that it was. But I do believe that relationships, nothing can replace relationships. When we're dealing with our clients, AI, they can do all the research and all the technology in the world can spit out things to them, but AI cannot be there to hold their hand, to calm them when things are going wrong, when the appraiser comes back low, or when they're walking through that property. AI is not going to be there to point things out that we see as potential issues, or if it's a divorce situation, to be that sounding board for both parties. AI is not going to be there at that closing table to congratulate them, and after the fact to be that voice if something goes wrong, that they can call and say, hey, I have an issue, or the person that they can always go to. And even if we don't have the answer, that trusted advisor that they know will get the answer for them. So regardless of AI, even though it is a great tool, it will never replace the human being and the human touch.
Well, I think that thank you for that.
Yes.
I think that's funny. I spent a lot of time with AI, but we forget that we are humans in a human world.
Yes.
And that's where we can leverage AI to help us, but always remembering that we are human in a human world, and it is the relationship and the connections that get made that are of the most importance.
Right.
The role of a good leader is to help create new leaders. And you've talked about how mentoring is important to you. What qualities do you think future leaders in real estate will need that maybe previous generations haven't needed so far?
Well, I think that, not that we haven't needed them thus far, but I think they're going to need more of emotional intelligence, adaptability, resilience, and of course, in our industry is constant change. And when I think of this, I think of 2020. And I think of a past president that I love and adore, our past president of GAR, Mr. Farron W. King, and how he had to adapt very quickly. 2020 was not the year that he planned. You know,
it wasn't the year that anybody
planned. So in 2020, he had to pivot very quickly, and he was definitely the right person at the right time. And he had all of this. He had the emotional intelligence. He's a very calm person. He adapted, and he moved us forward in a way that I don't think anyone else could have. But I think we're going to need more of that with everything that we continue to experience and continue to see throughout our industry. So that's what I would say we're going to need. We're going to need some more Farron W. Kings.
Well, my favorite past president of NAR, Ron Phipps, always talks about being nimble and agile.
Yes.
And I use those words all the time.
Yes.
What do you think agents need to be most mindful of right now, not just professionally, but personally?
They need to be mindful that not only of their business and where their business is going to take them, but also their well-being. You know, burnout is real. And like I said earlier, we can't pour from an empty cup. And we just truly need to realize that our health is important, and mental health is extremely important. So we need to maintain that. we're constantly going and going and going and going that we're not really sitting down and maintaining and taking care of ourselves the way that we need to. So I think that we need to focus on self a little bit more. And I'm probably speaking to myself in doing this.
Why not?
and I'm starting to realize that a little bit. But yes, just maintaining self and personal and our family, taking more time to spend with our family and making sure that that relationship is important as well.
If you could shift one mindset across our entire industry overnight, that's a big question. What would you do? What would you shift for everyone?
We are one.
There you go.
We are one. That would be my shift. We are one.
Awesome. Long after the torch passes to someone else, what do you want people to remember most about your leadership?
I want them to remember that I am authentic, that I'm genuine, that I listen, and that I care. And when I say that, I can give you several examples. Prior to my presidency, over a year prior to, I actually sat down with the CEO and the staff, and we talked about many things that were really important to me as it relates to the Georgia Realtors and our strategic plan. I listened throughout the years and I watched. In January of this year, we had our very first local association leadership training. We have such a turnover with our AEs, and every year our leadership team changes within our local associations. So I saw the need for training. We taught on professional standards, RPAC, core standards, so many other places. And it was so well received that we also scheduled 4 more local leadership trainings in October to prepare the 2027 leadership team. Our commercial practitioners were telling us that when they come to conferences, they felt as though most of the classes were geared to residential. We changed that in February at an inaugural conference, and we plan to make additional changes at the annual conference in New Orleans. So we hear them, we hear you, and we want to do what is best for our association and all of our members. So when you tell us, but we can't change what we don't know. So we need those voices to be heard, but we need you to come to us and let us know what we're doing right, but also what we need to improve upon. So I want them to know that, or I want it to be known that I'm listening and that I heard and that I really do care. So I hope they see that, they hear that, and that will live on after me.
Well, it takes a great deal of strength and openness to be willing to listen to
Yes.
when people say, this is where we have some room for improvement.
There's always room.
Everyone loves it when they're doing right, but sometimes we need to be a little bit stronger when we need to do righter, for want of a
Right.
better.
Every year, there's always room for improvement. Nothing's ever perfect.
What do you hope the people coming behind you believe is possible now that they saw you do it first?
I hope that all 47,000 members of the Georgia Realtors and those to come after that know and believe that they have a voice, that they matter, and that this association is not just for the leadership team, it's not just for the president, it's for everyone. It is about everyone, and everyone has a voice that needs and deserves to be heard. Whether you feel that it's small or not, there's nothing too small or too large that should not be shared, and you should not be ashamed and you should not fear telling us when it's something we're doing right or wrong. This is your association. It is not one person's association. It belongs to all of us.
One last question before we come to an almost close.
Okay.
What dream do you still carry for this industry? If you could wave a magic wand and have everything be exactly the way you want it to be, that's a good ninja phrase.
Okay.
What's the dream that you carry for our industry?
My dream is that we continue to stand on professionalism and integrity. That's my dream.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brianne. As I said, we're about to come to a close, but on my sessions of the podcast, we like to do a little thing called the lightning round. So
Okay.
if you're ready,
Okay, let's do it.
morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
French fries or tater tots?
Oh, French fries.
One word that defines great leadership for you.
Service.
Hardest leadership skill to learn.
Compassion.
Most valuable leadership skill you didn't think you needed, but you know you absolutely do.
Listening.
Person who shaped you the most.
My mother.
Best advice you've ever received.
Can't please everyone.
Favorite book.
It's probably going to be my Bible, actually. And that's the one I read most
You know
frequently.
what? That keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Often Jimmy Burgess
It's
said that as well. What instantly earns your respect?
instantly earns my respect is honesty.
Walk-up song to take the GAR stage.
We are one.
There you go. What's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
That I play basketball.
Awesome. Last question.
Yes.
When this year is over, what do you hope to feel?
I hope to feel accomplishment.
Well, thank you, Brianne.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you are. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything that you bring to our industry and our association. It's a big job, and you do it admirably. Everything that you have shared with us has been invaluable, and I so appreciate the time that you take out of your busy schedule, being all the things to all the people, to be with us.
Well, thank you, Carolyn.
That's a wrap for us today on this episode. Thank you so much for being with us. And if you found this interesting and perhaps sparked your interest in leadership and finding out more about all that GAR has to offer, why not like, subscribe, or share this podcast with a friend? We'll see you next time right here on the ARA Real Estate Rundown. Now go out and be amazingly awesome and create the real estate success of your dreams.